Good morning, cruel world. There's notifications. Got our coffee. Got a red light. Richard, what's up, man? Yeah, I sent you a link. Video a couple of days ago. I don't know what your thoughts were on that. Give me a call sometime today, brother. You beat Daniel. Daniel's been slacking, man. Oh, good evening, says Juan. Big Tech Struggling, what's up? Man, there was a massive, Truck for Life, what's up? There was a massive thunderstorm that rolled through here. I'm in Oklahoma City. Met my favorite shipper with the robots. And, you know, it's been kind of a tradition to go live from this place. Because even if they drop the plate right away, they got to inspect the trailer, and then the robots move about 1 mile an hour. So, if the stuff is staged correctly. I was kind of worried about the power because the intersection where the TA is on Morgan Road, exit 140, that traffic light was out, like completely, not even blinking. So I thought, well, I hope this area didn't suffer a power loss, because man, this storm was massive. I mean, it was like straight line wind, rain, sideways rain for at least a half an hour. I was watching Spectre's live feed last night while it was going down. It hailed a little bit, not too much, just like that little pea-sized hail. You could hear it on the roof. And I know my trailer doesn't have any leaks, that's for sure, because I checked it this morning when I blew it out, and no water. So why'd you do that, Richard? Number one, I don't know, little dog, if you watch my Gats video, there's a scene where where a little guy made an appearance, but he was too busy on the phone, so we never talked to him. I thought you might have gotten a kick out of that. Jose, what's up? But yeah, let's talk, right? Speaking of the truck show. The big powers that be, Chad Boblet did a post on Facebook about it, but he said that attendance was down, vendors were down, exhibitors were down, and I think Provost mentioned that he walked through the whole thing in 45 minutes.
Say a command.
I love these ELDs. And when the market is down, drivers don't have money to go to the show. They don't have the extra time or the extra loss of revenue they could possibly do. I missed your comment, Rich. Exhibitors don't see the point. You know, if they have a certain amount of budget, they're going to pick the bigger truck show, which is Mid-America. And so it'll be interesting if I go to Matt's this year, what it will look like, because we're coming up on an election year. And those of you who've been driving a minute know that every election year, doesn't matter who's in the election, every election year the economy slows down, and a lot of investors kind of pause what they're doing. A lot of retailers don't buy a whole lot, so they're not stuck with a lot of inventory, you know. Grafted Jose. Yeah, I agree, dog. Good morning from Bevier, Missouri. Loves. I have no idea where Bevier, Missouri is. Yeah, little dog, it was. You know how Saturday is like packed, because that's when all the families, the public come in, and you could barely like move around. And you know, you got all the families with the wagons so they can get like truckloads of free stuff. Saturday felt like Thursday. That's how less densely populated it was. And I remember last year the TA parking lot, you know, if you showed up Friday afternoon, Saturday morning, you were struggling to find a parking spot. That was never the case. We were on the end of the row on the west side of the parking lot, and only 2 trucks filled up from our group, and there was like enough room for probably 10 trucks to my right, which would be, you know, the south end of the parking lot. And I remember the year before last, you know, they put us in that back parking lot past the railroad tracks, and that when that filled up, then the secondary parking lot filled up. And you know, and now they just kind of condensed it in what was the secondary parking lot, and it was easy to walk around. And the company's giving away free stuff. Not that I go there for the free stuff, but it was less. I mean, you know that there's, you know, they weren't just, I mean, the usuals were giving away their t-shirts and stuff, but I noticed that they ran out of t-shirts faster. I noticed that they ran out of hats faster. And by Saturday at noon, everybody was hightailing it. 60 miles west of Hannibal, Missouri on 36. Oh, okay, Tracy. I've probably been through there. If they scheduled GATS later in the year so it wasn't so hot, that might help. Yeah, over text, I don't know. I guess they figured that during the day you're going to be in the show, you know, and I mean, if that was the case, Mid-America, there's been times when it was snowing and really cold, and it's easier to do outdoor events with GATS. But you know, that's the thing. Uber usually has like a big event, you know, of some sort, and I didn't see that this year. And if it wasn't for the events they had in the parking lot, there wasn't really, you know, there wasn't like the big Uber dinner. There wasn't that, you know. And I did miss out on Friday night festivities in the tent because we were in Provost of Struck with Pale Rider and Asian My Show doing his live feeds, or you know, their live feeds. But we still went out after 9:30, and there were still quite a bit of people out and about, but everybody was grilling, you know, and drinking beer, and you know, it was cool, you know. If they you know, I already read that. How's it going, sir? It was cool meeting up with Ratman. Tell you what, man, if you haven't subscribed to Ratman, he's got one of those 360 cameras, and he uploaded his GATS video, which is completely interactive. You can like move the camera yourself. Really, really cool. If they didn't charge an arm and a leg for booth space in hotels, more companies might come in. Little dog, that's a big problem too. I mean, you probably know the prices of the booths because of the Traveloco experience, but you know, I was told what 123 paid for, and that's a substantial amount of money. Now, here's the thing. So, when you have a convention center and shopping malls are guilty of this. They get less and less business, so what happens is they increase their prices. Next thing you know, it's not financially smart. You know, the to rent a space if it gets above a certain number. There was a mall in Springfield that was pricing them out of so much business that big corporations were pulling out because they were like, yeah, your lease sucks, you know. More light. More light. Here you go. There you go, Thomas. There's your light. 10 by 10, 5K, and that's just for the concrete slab. No carpet, no electric, etc. See, that's crazy. I didn't even see a Roscoe light from gas this year. Did he go? No, Juan, he did not go. Yeah, I got a flashlight. See, look. There. Why do you need to see my ugly face? If they... Okay, I already read that. So... But like a lot of shopping malls went by the wayside because as less and less traffic comes in, they increase the prices. And next thing you know, the companies are like, you know what, it's not financially worth it to even do that. You know, because you think about, like, for example, let's take Convoy. Let's pick on them for a minute. They get a big booth. They spend probably a good grand for t-shirts. You know, then they got to pay the people to man the booth. And then, like, those big, huge signs that float above the booth, I was told that those are like, it's cost $500 to even raise one. And then you got to pay the labor to get it down, which is another $500. But you got to pay then you got to pay the hotel room for the employee. You know, not to mention airfare or travel expenses like car rental or whatever. You know, so, and what do you gain from it? Like, for example, like Apex factoring. Did they really gain a lot of business by setting up that $20,000 booth they had? You know, does Convoy and DAT and I mean, you know, and it's going to get to the point where they're going to have to choose between one of the two truck shows, the big truck shows that everybody talks about, and everybody's going to pick Matt's. You look really short at that camera. I did. You know the other cool thing? 10 by 10 Matt's is only $1,500 to $3K depending on location. Wow, okay. That's definitely a lot better. The weird thing about that 360 camera, and Ratman was explaining it to me, is that the stick looks invisible. You can't see the stick at all. So when you see somebody walking around, it looks like they're holding an invisible cup of coffee. And Tex Crowley did a video where he had the big 9-foot pole that went skyward, and it literally looks like a drone is following you. I mean, that's the coolness of that camera. If I had a good computer that could edit that stuff, I would totally jump on that. But anyways, check out Ratman Rodin's channel. He did a really good you can move the camera around. It's really cool. Y'all look so weird walking around holding a stick. That's what she said. That's you know, in the beginning of my video, I had no intentions of really filming the show, and Pale Rider's like, you got to bring your GoPro in. So I just brought the little tripod, which later on I would regret, but I just got tired last year of lugging around the big selfie stick, you know, that I had. And then, but I'm kind of an idiot, so when Ratman showed up, he gave me like 2 cameras and a selfie stick that would have been a lot better, but you know, I was carrying it around anyway, so I might as well have put the camera on that I had. Jeff, what's up? But yeah, but that's the weird part, you know, and it literally it's like a drone following you if you do the software enough to where around, because from what I understand, and Ratman can correct me if I'm wrong, like when you watch Ratman's videos, him going down the road, you know, you see him pan to the right, you see him pan to the left, you see him zoom in on something. That's all done on the computer. That he's not literally turning the camera around. He's using that 360 camera, and then during the editing process, he could focus on whatever he wants to focus. And you know, and that's kind of what he did. His first upload of the GAT stuff, walking around with me, that's what he did. He basically selected, and then when he put the camera inside the truck, I told him, I said, yeah, it's really cool to have the big long stick because you can get inside the truck, you know, where normally you can't see inside because, you know, you're not allowed to get in the trucks. And that was really cool to see all that. So, Thomas Wilson, I heard a rumor about you yesterday. I wonder if it's true. But yeah, attendance was way down. So if that doesn't tell you the temperature of the industry, I don't think it's just a truck show. It'll be interesting to see what Matt's looks like this year, because other people have told me that Matt's this past year was lower in attendance. So, did you have a race? That's what I was going to ask. And if so, are you okay? Well, they're loading me. My appointment was at 9 a.m., but this place has said we get here at 5, they'll load you. Hello, what did you say? I asked you if you had a wreck. You know, Spectre made a good point last night that there was a lot. See, there's a lot of charity, and I hope that in the future that Like Trucking can do some stuff for St. Christopher's Fund in the future. I think I just said future twice. You know, they had the silent auction. They had, you know, there's, you know, he had the little truck show, which, you know, Roscoe had entered, but of course he wasn't there. But you know, that's half the fun, is hanging out with your friends out in the parking lot. And the problem this year was that our normal group, like last year, we had a huge group. You know, you had the Yeti and Light guys all together, and we had, you know, Recon Trucker, and we literally, there was a group of like 20 people that were all hanging out. And Matt's was kind of the same way. Go back and watch my Matt's 2019 video. And that was literally half the fun, to the point that at Matt's, halfway through the day, everybody just said screw it, and you know, let's just go to a parking lot and hang out. Should bring about $10 if it comes new markers. You're bandaged up. What did you do, Jeff? Did you fall down? Oh, your vet. How'd your vet do a wreck without you? Was it like Kit, Knight Rider? Did Kit mess up? John Cater, you're silly. I'm up in central Illinois. I rarely get out of the southeast. Awful gloomy in these parts. No, I didn't wreck it, but my really good friend. Oh, okay. Oh, okay, Thomas. Dang. That's crazy. Jeez, Thomas, you must be hurting, dude. That sucks, Thomas. I feel for you, man. I have a friend that has a Lamborghini. I was like, man, I couldn't even afford a week's worth of insurance on a Lamborghini. Music Trucker Bandit. I didn't see you sneak in. Talk about dog with the $10 if it comes new markers. Why doesn't Gats try different locations? Ricardo, I don't know. I mean, that's I don't know if they got a contract with the convention center or you know they think that Dallas is a good central point. Which, you know, if you look at the DAT, you know, load ratios, Dallas has a lot of freight in and out equally. And there's a lot of carriers. You know, look at next time you're parked at a truck stop or you're doing a truck stop, look around and see where carriers are from, like the small mom and pop owner, independent owners. And you're going to see like a large majority of them are from Texas and Missouri and California. Those are the three big ones. And where's the coffee from today? The coffee is from the TA. I did buy a can of Folgers to put in the truck because I ran out of my own. But so yeah, it's the TA. I already finished part of it. Bourbon and Coke, oh well. Oh man, I'm from Central Illinois. Okay. Oh, every time I have to go east or west, the cool people swing by my home area. Well, I hope you can fix it, Jeff. Hope you can fix it. Hey, I might be coming to Michigan. See if you can help me with my suspension gauge, because I don't think I could tackle that job by myself. Can't wait to get back home. Thomas, it would look good behind the big motorhome. Steelhorse, getting ready to leave Bloomington and head north. Yeah, I like Folgers. Always good to have a warm cup in the end. Provost had this stuff called 1850 Trailblazer from Folgers, and Pale Rider said it was really good. But unfortunately, he'd run out before we got there. But I don't know if. Well, no, someone said that they found it in ground form. You don't have to buy the K-Cups. We'll put it in the barn and hook it up. Come on over, and best of all, no charge. Thank you, Jeff. All right. Well, after I'm done helping my mom, that I have to help her out this next 3 weeks, I will do a load to Michigan, and we'll get her done. Hopefully it won't be so hot, right? I went the right way and I bought a suspension gauge for the truck, and they told me that you don't need the kit if you've already got a suspension gauge. Just replaces it. I always get nervous when I hear that sound. But yeah, the truck show, that's my review. It was fun, but it's not as fun when hardly any of your friends show up. But, you know, hopefully I don't miss anybody. But, you know, we saw Spectre. Sammy offered to let me drive his W9 around. And I almost took him up on it. But I didn't, I don't know. I feel weird driving somebody else's truck, right? But I've never driven a big hood. It'd be kind of neat to do. You know, and that was probably a golden opportunity. So Sammy, maybe next time. And then, you know, Michael Dow brought us tacos and beer. He brought me some Iron Maiden beer, which was cool. Kaislin was there. Charles Anderson was there. His son was there. Dominic, his Provost, Pale Rider, Jason Perry and his wife. Those are the main people we hung out. We went to the booth, watched Pale Rider hang out with Dave Nemo. That was cool. Said hey to Bill Weaver. He was in the dunk tank. Casey Phillips was in the dunk tank. And I'm telling you what, man, the dunk tank, that was the best place to be. it finally cooled down. You know, and then as we're walking around, go to Provost's channel and watch the walk around. You know, everybody was friendly. Everybody, people were barbecuing and offering you food and beer, and you know, and they had the lights going and stuff, and you know, that's half the fun. You know, you got Landstar. There's like 2 or 3 Landstar guys that show up every year. The Goose, that's a Landstar guy, and they always have the best looking trucks with the best lights coming out, you know, out there. And that's the thing. I think that the majority of the people that were there were independent owner ops, or they were ICs for Schneider. There was like probably 10 Schneider ICs trucks out there, and I would say Landstar was representing as well. So self-dispatch, right? So it kind of shows you that they're still doing okay in this market right now. You know, like I said, a down market means drivers can't afford the time off. We should have a gas or mats in Ontario, California. Well, you know, Lil Dog brought up the point of doing a show out west. And someone told me that Las Vegas does have a truck show. But I don't know if that's true or not. I haven't asked the mighty Google God if that's true or not. And according to Jeff, there's one in Ontario already. You know, the tough thing about truck shows is a lot of times corporate sponsors are needed. And so to help fund, you know, stuff like tents and sound systems, and you know, I mean, think about Uber, for example. Uber has a strong presence, and they, a lot of times in the past, they're the main ones that are supplying the tent or the food, or you know, that kind of thing. One in Wisconsin. Yeah, I mean, there's one in Ohio. There are some smaller mom and pop shows that are more of like a hot rod environment, car show. You know, it's all about, look how nice my truck is, not about recruiting or products, you know. That was the other thing, the little mom and pop, you know, what do you call it? Gimmicky products that you see in some of the booths. A lot of those weren't there. There was someone selling bathtubs there, though. You know, Bath Fitter was representing. You know, those people working at the Bath Fitter booth were like, why are we here? You know, I guess in a way, if you look at it, I'm getting paid to stand around and look at truck drivers, not look at our tubs. You know. Road Today Truck Show out of Mississauga, Ontario in September. Well, I can't go because I don't have a California compliant trailer. Which hopefully that'll be remedied soon. Alex from Ice Road Truckers was there when I got to go. Yeah, everybody said that. Oh, Lisa Kelly was at the GATS, and I never saw her. But I know she was there because people had pictures with her. I tell you what, though, Jeff did a video where he kind of was interviewing Convoy, like why do you guys do this, and this? This is what you can improve. He did it live on YouTube, which I thought was pretty cool. I was talking to a friend of mine about an establishment in Dallas that has a new truck dealership. Probably heard it on my video. And the dealership representative overheard me, and he chased me into, you know, I got to sit in the W9, right? Which was pretty nice. And he asked me why I said what I said. So I told him what was going on, what I've heard. And I think that a show like that is a good, like I talked to a couple of brokerages that were there and told them keep it up here, or why do you guys do this here, that kind of thing. I think the truck shows gives an opportunity to tell these corporates, hey, now I don't feel this and this is right, and hopefully those people are doing their job to tell their people that that this is a concern. For example, TA Petro, they're giving away these funky fork, knife, spoon things, right? And they said Country Pride Restaurant on them. So I'm like, I walked up and I grabbed the thing and I was like, well, that's interesting that you're advertising your restaurant because you're closing all of them. Well, it's kind of a, we want to give drivers more choices. And I looked at him funny. I'm like, I'm sorry, but taking away a diner that has 100 menu items and adding a Popeyes and a Taco Bell, that's not more choices. And he's like, yeah, you kind of caught me there. I'm like, yeah, that's a BS move. And what it is that it's easier for a truck stop to just lease that space out to a franchise, and they don't have to worry about staffing it. They don't have to worry about that whole restaurant aspect, because running a restaurant is not the easiest thing to do. And if you don't do it right, if you have bad managers and bad workers, then you have no profit. No one shows up. And I think that was part of the problem, is that staffing these Country Prides and Iron Skillets becomes a bigger challenge, and continuity goes out the window. And if you're not willing to pay a good cook or a good waitress, the waitress can't make any money if no one's coming in. And then the fact that a lot more people are cooking in their trucks, they're giving the big screw you to the truck stops by cooking. How many times have you seen people go, well, you could save $100 a week by cooking your own food in the truck? Well, I mean, so that method is working, and so the Country Prides feel like, well, we're not making any money. We're having to pay waitresses that aren't making any money. We're having to pay cooks, and we're losing, money on the hourly rate, and we're losing money on the profit. So it's just easier to let Popeyes or Taco Bell come in and say, hey, you know what? You guys take care of it. We don't want anything to do with this. All right, Thomas Wilson, you have a good night. You never thought Lisa Kelly was hot? I think that men see a female that drive a truck, and Roscoe's talked about it, they automatically get a higher scale since they drive a truck. Nate's house and their food sucks. That's the other thing. You make a point. The decline of quality is a big part of why no one's going in those places anymore. And so people are finding better options. Trucks are better equipped with inverters and refrigerators and all that stuff. And then add the fact that when you finally do want to, because every now and then you got to get out of the truck. Every now and then you got to get out of the truck, not cook in the truck, get out, mingle among the commoners, and or you meet up with a friend. Hey, I'm at so and so truck stop. All right, well, let's go have dinner. Let's go have lunch, right? And the decline, like for example, the Petro in Kingdom City. I'm there a lot. I'll probably be there tonight. And they used to have a spread on the buffet that rivaled like the casinos. It was really good. They had like ribeye, and they had, or prime rib. They had they even had a chocolate fountain. They had like these extravagant homemade desserts, And now they don't do that. And the last 2 times I've eaten the buffet, it's just not that great. And the individual meal was okay, but like if you get a steak dinner or whatever, a lot of times I just grab breakfast to go and then eat that later in the truck about lunchtime. You look for a truck stop with Taco John's. I've never seen a truck stop. Open a keto restaurant at the truck stop in Springfield. Well, little Viking coach, any restaurant could be keto. That's how restaurants make money, because they sell you the bread. You get the free bread, fills you up on bread. If you fill up on bread, you won't eat as much food out of the buffet. The restaurant, the TA in Stratford, by my house, it's independently owned, so they still have it's not even a Country Pride. It's called 88 Diner, and I believe the one in Mount Vernon is the same way. But the Iron Skillet in Joplin, no go. Morning, Anthony. I hate Pilot because there is no restaurant. It's fast food or crap off the shelf. It seems they're catering travelers instead of truckers. I agree with you, Maria Lynn. There are some Pilots and Flying J's that have Golden Corral or Steak and Shake, which is kind of sit-down-ish. But I'll take Steak and Shake over McDonald's any day. Thank you, Levi Coach. I did make a good point. Dude, I order low-calorie meal prepped meals online, and it's delivered to my house every Sunday morning. This is the best way to do it. Sleepy Joe, it's interesting you talk about that, because subscription food services are a thing now. So I know people that what they'll do is they'll order from one of those monthly subscription deals. You order enough meals for the month, and then you throw them all in your freezer and you go down the road. It's portioned. A lot of diet plans have that. I think there's a keto one and a paleo one, and my sister uses that HelloFresh. They do that because they don't have any kids at home or nothing, so it's just less work to do it that way. They give you everything you need. You cook the meal, follow instructions, and you're good. White line, blue skies. People like the thought of old school restaurants and truck stops where the same ones grabbing McDonald's across the street because it costs $20 per meal. Right. There is a financial aspect to that. The meals at the sit downs that used to cost 10 or 15 are now 20. Now, Steak and Shake, I will say, they've got $5 meals, and you can make that work keto, by the way. And that is a big part. I mean, you got guys out here making 35 cents a mile. Last thing they're going to do is have a sit-down meal. Buffets are way more expensive. Even a buffet is more expensive. One of the cheapest ways to do food, if you don't have food in the truck, is you get the buffet to go, because it goes by weight. So what would normally cost you $20 to sit down, you can get it to go and maybe pay about $8 or $9, depending on how much you load it, because they go by weight, and then take that back to your truck, and then you're not tempted to overeat. So that's a diet tip as well. Fennell, Steak and Shake is the South version of Whataburger and In-N-Out. Yep. Rop of the morning, says TJ. Pale Rider, what's up? It's about time you woke up. All right, Juan, go count some sheep. Morning, Cubby. My suspension gauge is getting up there. I think we're almost loaded. Little trucking tip: if you can, slide your tandems to the back, if even if they don't make you, and you can see just how much your weight you're being loaded. And also, it's less bounce. If you own a trailer, less bounce means you're gonna not wear out those rubber pads a lot quicker. Unless you fill up the Togo container to get your money's worth. That's true. Nothing witty. Good morning. Pale Rider TV had a late night. What are you doing these late nights there, Pale Rider? That ain't your thing. By the way, Pale Rider's got a truck for sale. His Pro Star's up for sale. But any other questions, comments, or concerns? You get the breakfast buffet. Dude, that's keto is crazy. When I was keeping track of my macros, which I need to get back to doing that, I got the breakfast buffet to go, and it gave you the perfect macros, and it was the only meal I ate, and it was at noon. So I would load it up, throw it in the fridge, and then I would heat it up later, and oh, so good. Pale Rider's been out partying? I think so. I try to eat out of the truck as much as possible. You're right. It adds up eating out of the truck stop on a constant basis. It does. I mean, if you think about it, Anthony, if you spend $10 a day and you're out 30 days, that's $300, right? But how many of us are actually spending only $10 a day? You're probably closer to 20. Now, most people are out, let's say you're home every weekend, so that's 20 days out, right? 20 times 20. So if you spend $20 a day and you're out 20 days a month, that's $400 a month that you're spending in food alone, food and coffee. A lot of people don't think about that. A lot of people are out there, oh, here's my cost per mile and all this stuff. And I don't know how many people actually factor their food budget into all these costs. $400 is a big chunk of change. Thank you, Nothing Witty. And yeah, that's a nice car payment. And so if you cook in the truck, that'll save you some money. I got some cooking in the truck videos coming up. Do alternate day fasting, half as much food. Little Lion Coach, since I've been on this keto thing, my food bill has gone way down. I'll spend about $100 at Walmart, and that'll last me about 2 weeks. And if I actually discipline myself and brew my coffee in the truck, that's even more money. So let's say you get a cup of coffee every day. That's $2. 2 times 20. That's you know, that's 40, right? No, it's 80. Duh. Math is hard. So that's $80 a month in coffee alone, if you're home every weekend. So if you think about that, like, well, $80 a month, I could brew it myself. You know, people are like, well, I got to cut costs here and cut costs there. You know, well, hell, make your own coffee. Boom, that pays for your accounting a month, right? 40 a day if you scale. Math is hard, Nothing Witty. Come on, you know that. Issues. And judging by the truck show, there's going to be a lot of corporate exhibitors that are going to cut costs, and GATS is going to be the first one to go. That's just my prediction. Cheese sandwich for lunch, crackers and hummus for snack, and prepackaged salad for dinner, all from home every weekend. There you go. That's why I'm glad you want to help the idiot. I'm out for 2 months at a time and 1 week home. I try to eat only one good meal a day. And the rest of the day is fruit and veggies, drink water. here's the thing with keto, and Little Viking Coach just talked about it. Keto and intermittent fasting helps you save money. Well, how can you save money if you're eating nothing but steak and eggs and avocados and butter and salads, you know? Once you start losing the weight, you're eating less anyways. And like that Subway salad tip that I had, that's 3 meals for me now. There was a time where that was 1 meal. Now it's 3. So in that sense, you could spend $10 a day, and that'd be all 3 of your meals. Put some olive oil on there, and there's your fats. Grab a piece of meat, and pretty much got everything you need. Sleepy Joe appreciates Little Viking Coach. It was good to see Little Viking Coach back in the saddle again. He was on point too. My favorite part, Little Viking Coach, is when you're like, we're going to talk about this right after this, like Pale Rider does. And there was no intro. That was my favorite part. You need an intro, Little Viking Coach. What would an intro or an outro sound like for Little Viking Coach? What would that sound like? Little Viking Coach, what do you want? Maybe I'll make you one. What do you want it to sound like? Do you want a goofy theme song like I gave Pale Rider, or do you want like a death metal version? Or do you want like a goofy death metal version? Because I'm good at goofy death metal. I'm really good at that. Go back to my old videos and look up Snorlord EAD. Maybe that can be Little Viking Coach's intro with the mask. It kind of falls into what the mask that he has. All right, White Line, thanks for stopping by. You have a coffee subscription from Trade Coffee? Do they give free samples, Grafton? I would like that. That intrigues me. Yeah, cooking in the truck is great. I do Chemex coffee over here every morning. Do one for the actual trucker's coach. I don't know. I thought he had an intro when he does a recorded video. It does belong to James, but I imagine nothing would that James would be willing to share that. Here's the story of EAD. So whenever Big Rig CEO, whenever he's all riled up, that's a term that he uses. I'm not going to say it out loud, right? And he goes, you need to write me a song about that. So I did. So when Apnea went in the studio, I had a weird request. I told the drummer, hey, just play this beat, follow my lead, and you know, there's not even any bass on it. You know, we just did it real quick in the studio with the amp that I used for the scratch tracks, and then I threw some vocals in there, and that was his Christmas present. I gave that to him, and he turned into a ringtone and the whole 9 yards. And so one day I was bored, I put that song out on YouTube, and because it doesn't appear on any Apnea album, it is not an Apnea song. It's just me being a goofball with the drummer playing a beat. We had a cowbell in there. I don't know if you guys, if you listen to that song, there's a cowbell in there. That's the most important part. Black Rifle Coffee is good stuff, William Brown. I agree. Someone should start up a GoFundMe for the cow being harassed. I had the Black Rifle blue, thin blue line or whatever it was called, where proceeds went to police. That was pretty cool. It was really strong. Black Rifle Coffee will kick your butt. Gotta make sure water's not coming in the truck. We've got the windows partially cracked and it is misting. But my favorite coffee in the world is this stuff right here. This is the best coffee in the world. This is, Pale Rider will agree. This stuff is real. Let me put some light. Let me advertise this company here. Let me get my spotlight, since you guys can't see. This is, oh, that's too bright. This is the good stuff right here. Cafe Altura. You don't find this at Walmart, unfortunately. And it's organic and it's fair trade. So they're not raking the farmers over the coals for this stuff. A lot of coffee actually has a lot of chemicals in it. So if you can find organic coffee, that's better. And you can definitely taste the difference. That coffee will wire you, but it's not like people can buy that extreme, the extra caffeinated coffee, and that stuff's lame. This stuff has the same effect, and what a lot of people don't realize is the lighter the roast, the more the caffeine there is, because you're not cooking the beans as long when it's a lighter roast. So if anybody wants to send me a case of that Cafe Altura, I'll be your best friend. I got to meet them in Savannah, Georgia last year at one of 9 apparel events. Awesome dudes. I like their commercials too. I think they have offer codes at Trade Coffee. I did get a free shipment on sign up from Wheezy Waiter on YouTube a while back. Wheezy Waiter. That's an interesting name. We're almost at an hour. So we talked about GATS, we've talked about rain, we've talked about coffee. Is there anything else we need to talk about? Organic doesn't agree with you? What I've noticed with the Cafe Altura is you really rent it. Like, if I drink that stuff, man, within an hour you're finding somewhere to go. And it doesn't take much, man. It doesn't take much to get you wired up. And it's not like it's extra caffeinated. But it's not bitter. It is one of the few, the sign of good coffee is if you can drink it black and not hate it. And now, while I've acquired a taste for black coffee over the years, I wasn't always that way. That stuff, I know people that hate black coffee. And I know Pale Rider just probably fainted. Hopefully he's not driving. I know people that hate black coffee, but they love that black. That's how good that stuff is. Cold beer and something naked would make for a good conversation. Well, I agree, depending on what's naked. If I was sitting here with a cold beer and I was naked, we'd be having a far weird conversation right now. Just saying. I thought it was kind of creepy. Asian My Show did a video talking about toys, and he didn't have a shirt on. I felt very uncomfortable watching that. He's a good dude. I got his hat. I got his hat up here. Let's see. Oh, almost fell down. I got his hat. And you know what I did? I bent that straight rim. I bent it. That's what you do with these hats. There. Asian My Show. I like a little coffee in my sugar. I've introduced coffee to people and they're like, oh, I hate coffee. Oh no, but put this, you know, sweetened vanilla amaretto, you know, creamer in it. And they're like, you know, next thing you know, that's what they do. Cubby, I put, and it's mainly because of the keto thing, I put heavy whipping cream in my coffee. Although I will have it black. So. Where? I'm gonna guess there's 2 more pallets to go. Now the Asian My Show spent some money on these hats. That's for sure. My favorite hats that I got this year was this one and this one. I really love this cat hat. Cat. Look at the stitching on that. That's kind of cool. This is a high quality hat. So, and I have a hat problem. I have literally 20 hats in this truck. That is not exaggeration. That is an actual number I've counted. People love giving me hats. Who doesn't wear a free hat? Sounds like 3 more pallets. Well, Little Vine Coach, the way they do it here is they load it 2 at a time. You know, a lot of beverage companies, they load it, you know, their forklifts load side by side, so they only have to go in like 8 times. Bailey's Irish Cream, that'll make good coffee. Heavy cream is awesome for coffee. I was doing that before I'd ever heard of keto just because it's delicious. Exactly, nothing woody and less chemicals than the half and half or the Coffee Mate. Speaking of coffee, if anyone in here has ever had the brand Green Bean Coffee, then I salute you because I've never seen it in the States. Check Amazon. You might be able to find it on Amazon. Okay, let's talk some trucking stuff here. If you are on the spot market and you're negotiating loads for this weekend, you're going to stay out for, it's Labor Day weekend, so you got to be careful. There's going to be a lot of loads with time on them because instead of delivering Monday, you're going to deliver Tuesday. Now, here's where you can get them. If you are working this weekend, stick to a higher rate because anytime you work a holiday, you should be able to negotiate a higher rate. I managed a pretty good rate for the weekend. And the leverage I had was I'm picking up Wednesday afternoon, delivering Friday evening. And then I'm picking up on Saturday, where I'm at now, and then delivering that late Sunday night. So that and the broker didn't want to pay on that, so I negotiated a better rate. I was like, hey, you know what, you know, you're gonna have trouble finding trucks, so now we'll see if it happens. But if they find a cheaper truck, then it'll be weird if my load cancels, you know, because the rate I got going down back down to Texas out of Missouri is pretty good, especially for this day and age. So no, I did not Little Wine Coach. I usually mix coffee, hot chocolate, French vanilla in my coffee at the same time. Quentin Tarantino buys his own coffee because when he drinks, he likes to taste it. Did you hear about Sarah England being possibly bought out? No, I did not hear about that. I did hear that. I heard the rumor that Heartland was getting ready to buy Millis. I don't know if that's true or not. Heartland's been buying up a lot of different companies. You know who else did that though? Celadon, and you know we all know that they're not used to be. Remember when it was a YouTube trend to talk about how bad Celadon was? You remember that? You guys remember that a couple of years ago? Bandit, you going home on Friday? Yeah, I wish I could go home on Friday, but I screwed up. So I screwed up royally. So I'm working this weekend. Must go. Have a great day. Thank you, Maria. I think we're gonna end this live feed. It's over an hour, and they've about got me loaded, and I need to look at a few things online. I got friends sending me links to videos that I need to watch, I guess, and we'll let someone else go live. Let someone else talk about absolutely nothing. So that being said, thanks for watching. If you didn't fall asleep and you want more of this, I go live. I do recorded videos. I did edited videos this week, guys. 3 of them. Can you believe that? And I'm testing out this Dragon Touch camera for driving footage today. So look for that to go up. It will be the music because the sound quality on these Dragon Touches are really bad. I've already tested that. So it's not the kind of camera you walk around talking about stupid trucking stuff. You know, GoPro's got better audio than this thing does. But I'm grateful because Ratman gave me these cameras, and the 4K is amazing. It's you know, we'll see what the stabilization looks like, but shouldn't be too bad because they're action cameras. But anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Click the bell. I'll leave this one up because we didn't really talk about anything stupid or bad or anything like that. So take it easy. Oh, I got a green light. Gotta go.